Hello guys, and welcome to another Pony 4-in-1. This is episode 72 for the week of September 28th. I am Nemesis, and joining me once again is Alca7raz.
Hello?
And yes, it's finally that time. We teased it last week, and you're probably expecting it, and some of you have already seen it. It's Rainbow Rocks this week.
We're actually going to do this one on time.
Yeah.
Not wait, however long.
Not wait over a year. Yes. Yeah, so we saw it. But first, we have some other stuff. We have some news, and we have a comic. So we're going to start off with the news. And to follow along, you want to go to pony4in1.libsyn.com/show notes. All the links and stuff are there. So let's get going. Convention news. Nightmare Nights Dallas has announced yet another writer, Natasha Levenger. So, WriteCon 2014. Yeah. In sadder convention news, Brony Fanfare has decided to cancel their convention plans for 2015.
Another convention down.
Yep. In the last bit of convention news, Ashley Ball will be appearing at Salvage Con for signatures and photos. Remember, that's the Australian con that's kind of risen up from the ashes of Sydney 2014. Yep. So, there you go.
Yep.
In merchandise news, some MLP shoe accessories are coming on November 1st, and these are things like faces, wings, I guess stock vectors of the ponies. You just attach them to your shoes.
Ponify your shoes.
Yes. So, looks like they're mostly made for like high-top Converses, but who knows. Anyway, images of the Build-A-Bear Celestia plushie have surfaced. Still no word on a release date, so including all the accessories she comes with, or can come with if you
so come with if you want to pay more.
So, there you go. One for Celestia. Wave 11 blind bags have begun to appear in the U.S. at Walmarts. So if you've been looking forward to this one, it might be pertinent. It might be pertinent of you to go ahead and check because this is the one with like sunset and whatnot in it. So I need to go to Walmart soon. Although it usually takes longer for Hasbro stuff to get out here for some reason. Whatever. GM Barrow has posted artwork for the Daring Do collection on Twitter. This, if you remember, this is the book coming out in a few weeks.
Yep.
Books. I should say. Apparently, there's going to be pictures in the books because we already know the covers. So, interesting.
It's in a treasure box.
Yes. And we'll be talking about it.
Yes.
Anyway, My Little Pony is a finalist this year to be inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame, competing against other stuff that I didn't bother to look at because I don't really care that much. But anyway, yeah, it was. I believe it was actually a finalist last year, but it did not get in. So, who knows? It might get in eventually.
Good luck.
And the final piece of merchandise news, Hasbro's third quarter 2014 webcast is going to be on October 20th. While these are usually about sales numbers and whatnot, for their toys and stuff, there's sometimes new information for the show that appears in them, but sometimes just, this is a new line we're doing, but usually it's just toy stuff, but occasionally stuff from the show slips in.
Yep. So we'll see if we get any
Don't
leaks.
Get your hopes up, but yeah.
There can be leaks sometimes.
Not really leaks.
Not really leaks, but there might be some interesting tidbits.
Yeah. So anyway, in comic news, Adventures in Friendship Volume 2 has appeared on Amazon. This is another, believe hardback collection, but this one is apparently has a theme, and that's Pinky and Applejack, including their micro series comics and their Friends Forever, which, if you remember, is not a great comic.
It's not a great comic, but if we're getting it with a whole bunch of other ones, whatever.
Yeah. So there you go. And a preview issue number 24 has appeared on iTunes. That is coming out next month. I believe possibly the first or second one. I don't remember exactly, but pretty soon. So, preview, spoilers, all that stuff. There you go.
Yep.
In Equestria Girls news, I guess we actually have some. The soundtrack for the first Equestria Girls movie has appeared on iTunes. No word on other services yet, as per usual, so it's probably going to be several months where it's just going to kind of quietly be pushed out and no one's going to notice for several weeks.
Yep. Google Play, come on.
It's $5 though, 5 songs, or 5 or 6, I don't remember, 5 or 6, but yeah. So, if you've been looking for that, remix or the cafeteria song,
there you go.
It's available now. And our final piece of news, the Hub is going to become Discovery Family sooner than we thought. October 13th.
So yeah, next month.
Yeah, in a few weeks, actually.
Yeah.
MLP is still going to air on the channel, at least for the foreseeable future. So, no real change except for the logo.
The logo will change. But that changes everything, man.
Yeah. So
I'm going to change the YouTube uploads forever.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, like I said, so that's the news. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, we do have a comic as well, which of course had to come on the week. We're kind of try to cram a bunch of stuff. But anyway, it's the annual 2014 issue. It's about the Power Ponies.
Yay.
It's got 2 stories in it, but one of them's really short.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was like getting to the end. It's like, isn't there supposed to be a second story? Oh, there it is. Wow, that's short. But anyway, it's the actual Power Ponies, not the incarnation we saw in the show. So it's about the villains, a bunch of villains, all getting defeated by the Power Ponies, getting fed up with it, and deciding to team up and form their own league. Because, the Power Ponies use teamwork, and it's like, hey, wait a second. So, surprise, and apparently the Power Ponies do not actually get along too well. Yeah, so, and then they get defeated, and then they have to figure out how to beat the villains from there. So, I don't want to go too far from there, but yeah, it's actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think I actually like this story quite a bit. And the other stories, it's really short. It's basically about Maniac going to a human world. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's a thing. But yeah, overall, it's actually a pretty nice little comic, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a longer. It's it's one of the longer annuals. So it's a much longer story. This is like I think almost the same length as possibly like 2 issues of the normal comic. So
yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, it's a pretty meaty little story. It's drawn well. The story's nice. So yeah. And you agree?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a readable one.
Yeah, it's readable. It's enjoyable. I like it. This one I believe costs more than the other ones just because it is bigger. So
yeah,
I think
annual.
It costs like $6 or $7. I can't remember.
Closer exactly. To like the last annual.
Yeah, it's more expensive. One. It's also got a actual bound cover.
Yeah.
So it's a good. I think it's worth picking up, especially if you like the Power Ponies episode and want to know more about that comic world.
Yep.
It's got definitely some little references here and there.
Yeah.
Including to the actual show itself in
sort
a
of
weird roundabout way.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But it's funny.
Definitely go pick this one up, I think.
Go pick it up. It's worth it.
I was a little disappointed that the second story is so short, but
yeah, that one's a little bit interesting.
The last annual we had a pretty long. Both stories were both about an issue, their own thing. But this one, we got one really long story and one really short one.
Yeah, I guess when you have one really long one, you have to take sacrifices somewhere.
Yeah, so it's just probably the way they
focus on the main one and not the secondary.
Whatever. Yes, the villains also actually. I think the villains are actually pretty cool.
Yes, I will say that. I think I like the villains more than the Power Ponies.
Oh wow, yeah, they got the. Let's see, what's his name. The
actual name?
Pharaoh Fetlock.
Pharaoh Fetlock.
Yeah, he's Egyptian themed. There's let's see.
Maniac, of course.
Of course, Maniac shows up. Long Face, who is basically a sad mime-looking dude. Footwear, femme fatale, high heel.
High heel. Yeah.
High heel, who is shoe themed. So yeah, and of course a weird thief person and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Go check it out.
It's interesting. So yeah, go get it.
All right, so that's that taken care of. So here's the thing. If you really, really don't want to hear spoilers, because you need to just kind of stop listening right now. Because the rest of this episode will be filled with spoilers. There's not going to be fan content or anything. There's nothing else but Rainbow Rocks from here to the end, pretty much. So if you really, really don't want to hear spoilers...
Sorry?
Jump out.
Yeah, because we can't talk about what we want to talk about without spoiling things.
So just to give you a real quick thing, though, we think you should see it.
Yes.
We enjoyed it a lot, and we think you should see it. So go ahead. If you have to wait till it appears on the hub, okay. If you decide to wait till it appears on Blu-ray and DVD, go ahead. But just go see it however you want to see it. It's good.
Yes.
We were going to share more on our opinions later, but first we have other people's opinions, because, well, we decided to interview people who we saw the movie with.
Yep.
We asked them what they thought of the movie, so here it goes. All right, guys, I have an interview with a bunch of people who went to the Rainbow Rocks movie, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So first off, I kind of want you guys to introduce yourselves. So,
hi, I'm Patrick Storm.
Hi, I'm Tails.
I'm Avenue Potter.
I'm Admin Cash Brony.
And I'm the Phobe guy.
All right, so those are the people I got lined up for an interview. God help their souls. So first off, I guess the first thing is, what were you expecting coming into this movie? Were you actually expecting it to be good or bad or what?
I was expecting it to be slightly better than the first movie, and it did deliver.
Well, as sequels go, people kind of expect them to not be as good as the first one. I'd say it was good, if not better than the first one. I didn't have a lot of expectations because it is humans and not ponies, so I'm always kind of surprised.
I was actually expecting to not like it as much as I did because I don't like music. But the music worked with the plot, and it was awesome music for being musical.
From what I've heard from the fan base and all the negative attitude towards it, I was expecting something not as exciting, but I got something awesome.
I first thought that they probably won't play their cards right, but I was sort of more optimistic that they would play it right, and as soon as I saw the movie, they really outdone themselves, and it's much better than the first movie.
Sorry, who are you?
Curtis.
Okay. What were you expecting coming into the movie?
Absolutely nothing, because I used the same technique I used for the first one, which was do not watch any trailers and have no expectations, so I'm going to be disappointed. And I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was better than the first one, and they did a good job.
So I guess some of you actually answered some of my next few questions, I guess. Okay, so most of you, I guess, wouldn't say you enjoyed it? Yeah. Okay, so I guess, is there anything in any particular scenes you really liked? Like, what is a standout scene or song for you?
The transforming vinyl scratch car. The best one.
I wouldn't say there's any really one scene, but I really liked that there was a lot of humanized ponies, some of our favorites, that were pretty prominent, not just in the background like the first movie. So.
I actually like the attention to detail, and so my favorite scene was when Gummy showed up as a toy. Little things like that throughout the movie were great.
I don't want to give away too much, but just wait after the ending part, because it'll make your day.
My favorite parts are really the post-credit scene is a surprise, which I don't dare give away, but my favorite moment has to go to Maud Pie as he's feeding the Rock her crackers.
Well, he stole mine. So I was going to say, Boulder was hungry. But yeah, I thought it was going to like the attention to detail, and it felt like the jokes they had, the first movie felt very heavy on just referential humor. This felt like they were more careful with that, and the plot stood on its own, so.
Now, I guess on the flip side of the coin, was there anything you weren't really as fond of or maybe thought could have been done better at all?
Yes, the main antagonist of the series, I believe they did the more of monologuing evil upon evil, evil plan. A little too much.
I think the beginning of the movie started a little rough, and I kind of had my expectations. They kind of went down a little bit. I was like, this is not going to be good. And then it was really good. The villains... the design was very reminiscent of Monster High, which is kind of Equestria Girls' main competition.
I don't really know. Doesn't mean I like the whole thing, but there's no particular, I loved it, but there's, it's not perfect, but nothing stands out as particularly bad.
The movie was so great, but they also had those moments of them just sitting around doing nothing just to kill time. But overall, I enjoyed the rest of it.
Even though Maraiki, who plays Revy in Black Lagoon, is in this, I felt as if the villains could have been at least a little bit more interesting. Instead, what I first thought is that they were sea ponies that flew in the sky or something like that.
I'm getting more used to them, but the character designs themselves are still pretty Uncanny Valley for me. Okay. Uncanny Flutter Valley. I don't know. So, yeah.
Okay, I guess one final question I have is, seeing this, are you excited for, I'm pretty sure what's an obvious, Equestria Girls 3?
Yes, I think the new post-credit scene leads up to a very, very interesting sequel.
Yeah, they definitely, as Twilight said, it's not goodbye. It's goodbye until next time. And then the end credit scene kind of sets it up for, third movie. And I think that was kind of expected from the first one.
I'm really excited for the third movie. I've been thinking about what the twist ended up being, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't wait for the third movie.
Originally, I wasn't into Equestria Girls as much, but now I am hooked.
I am most definitely excited for the third movie. It looks really good just to see another. I mean, I don't want to give it away, but trust me, you're going to be shocked as ever when you see this post-credit scene.
I will very likely buy a ticket to that event.
All right, that's it for these interviews. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope everyone here being interviewed had fun. So, so I hope you guys go see it soon because it sounds like it's pretty good. All right, I got another round of interviews about the movie, Rainbow Rocks, in case you didn't realize. Yeah, it's out, and a lot of people have enjoyed it, but I got two people here with me. So first off, introduce yourselves.
This is Raymond, but everyone calls me Ray for short.
Hey, this is Kyle Desaulniers. My OC is Sverker Blackmane.
All right, so I guess first off, what were you, coming into this movie, what were you expecting out of it?
Well, last night I went to I went to Netflix and saw the first movie, Equestria Girls, and to get my mindset onto what I'm getting myself into. And it's kind of like it was kind of like being at an amusement park with that big crazy roller coaster that everyone's scared to go on. Yeah. So I just stepped into the movie and took it for a ride. Yeah.
I liked it. I was a bit on the fence about the first one because I didn't know about the humanized ponies. But once I realized that I loved it just as much as I loved the show, I was super jazzed for it. I think they did an excellent job. It seems like they put a lot more work into it, and it's well worth the watch.
Okay, so it sounds like you both really enjoyed the movie. Okay, so first off, I guess what's one of your, maybe a favorite scene or song from the movie that really comes to your mind, as this was really funny or good or whatever?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I like the collaboration of the second and third tier ponies coming in there, such as Lyra Heartstrings, Bon, Trixie also gets a big thing, and also I also really like Sunset Shimmer solo that she got with the songs and everything at the end.
The songs have always been memorable. I like the protagonists introducing themselves in the Dazzling's first song in the cafeteria. That was fantastic. And the final punch-up songs when there was the actual battle of the bands. I really enjoyed Fluttershy using her cutie mark as a cannon to slay dragons.
Yeah, that was pretty amusing. Okay, but on the flip side, was there anything about the movie you didn't like or thought could have been done better?
Well, Megan McCarthy has been known not to be able to write villains that often, that well, and this is no exception. The villains to me are a bit lackluster. They were plotting and they were plotting, scheming, saying that there was nothing really cunning like Tyrek from the season 4 finale. Not that much, yeah.
I think they were more on their ball than the villain from the last movie. It did not have a scene in it that was, Vice Principal Luna's office that just could have been excluded entirely. I didn't get any feelings for any scenes like that in this movie.
Okay. So final question. Knowing what you know about this movie and seeing it and all this that stuff, are you excited for Equestria Girls 3, which seems to be inevitable?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some subtle hints about season 3 and about the third movie, and here's the thing: we like the second movie, and the third movie is going to top this one. So we were both blown away by this, and the third one's is going to be just as better, if not the same.
It's always nice to see a movie progress in both depth and attitude. It's not a Transformers. We're not going to see 1, 2, and 3 be completely garbage. 2 was way better than 1. I'm assuming that it's going to continue its upward trend into movie 3.
And there you have it. So once again, more high praise for this movie. So thanks for listening. All right, so those were the interviews.
If it sounds a bit weird.
Yeah, if it sounds a bit weird, there's real world conditions you really can't stop people. You can't just tell everyone to shut their cars off and whatnot, or tell them to stop talking or anything. But yeah, if it sounds weird, it's we're different equipment, all that stuff. It's just real world scenario. You can't really do anything about it. Just I hope it didn't sound too horrible, but I hope you liked them. I hope it's not just us who really enjoyed it, but yeah. Anyway, so Rainbow Rocks, like we said, spoilers ahoy. This is where things are going to get super spoilery. There's already spoilers in those interviews, but this is going to go to the extreme now.
Yeah.
If you haven't already bailed out and you're still thinking about if you really want to avoid the major stuff, this is your last chance. Everyone gone? Who's don't want spoilers? Okay.
Let's move on.
Moving on. So Rainbow Rocks.
Rainbow Rocks.
We saw it in the theater, and it blew the first movie away.
Yes, it did.
This movie is 1,000 times better than the first one.
Maybe not 1,000, but yeah, much better.
It's much better. If you were not really happy with the first one, you found it just merely okay like we did, you will love this one, I think.
Yeah.
If you don't, well, okay. I don't know what to say, but
I'll tell you there, but we liked it a lot. We
you
thought
have a
this was
wrong
much,
opinion.
much
You should feel bad.
No, we can't actually say that.
I just did.
Shush.
Anyway, so to get into the story stuff real quick, to brief, just in case you're kind of like, what happened exactly again? But yeah, so starts off in the human world with the villains, the three villains. They're in a cafe. We've seen these in the previews, so if you've avoided those, well, congratulations. Anyway, you see them in the previews before, but starts off with the villains in the cafe. They're trying to, I guess, feed off negative energy, and they're not getting a lot because it's not equestrian magic and stuff. And then we see from a distance the end of the first movie with the
rainbow
sunset turning into a demon, and then the rainbow flying and all that stuff. We see all that, and they're all like, "Oh, wow."
Adagio is.
Yeah, Adagio's just
really
like,
noticed.
"That's equestrian magic."
Yep.
We now have a way to take over. So, and then we go to, Sunset in the main five, I guess.
Main five.
Yeah. But, yeah, as we see, Sunset is not exactly the most popular person anymore.
Yeah.
She's actually pretty much hated right now.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, though.
So, she's hated, but her, the five, they're still willing to be friends with her. And so you get that, she sees Sunset's really struggling right now, and then Sunset's trying to make a good impression on the new students after a big little song. Because, that's a good surprise. Lots of songs. Yeah, so she did a little song. They kind of, Sunset and them talk a bit about, how Sunset's changed since then. And Sunset goes to show the new girls around who, surprise, it's the villains.
It's the villains, yep.
And she's trying to make a good impression on them before they hear about the old her. And the thing is, she kind of realizes something's wrong here, and then she's at lunch with their friend. They're all at lunch. They're talking, and she's talking about how. And then they come in, and the villains cast a spell using their voices, and they're like, "Oh, that's what you meant." That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they realize something's wrong, so they decide to try to cut it off at the pass by going to Celestial Luna. But unfortunately, the villains have already got to them, and they've put them under the spell already. So that's dead. So now they don't know what to do. They have that magic, but they know that only works when they play, so they decide to find a way to get Twilight. While they do, apparently Sunset has a book that when she writes in it, appears in another book. Whatever she writes in this book appears in another book, and she thinks Celestia still has it, but then we go back to the Pony World.
Yay.
And Twilight's getting a delivery of books into her new castle, remember that?
Yep.
And and turns out, oh, look, that book's with it, so she reads it and finds out everyone's in trouble, and now she finds out they are, in fact, sirens. The three villains are sirens, so we were wrong about the changeling thing.
Sort of. We were wrong about the changeling thing, but we did predict the sirens before that. When we first heard about it, we thought.
Yeah. So it's siren. They're sirens. They're not the siren seduce men type siren.
No.
They're we're gonna sing and put you under our power type thing. They sing. They create discontent, and then they feed off that, which allows them to grow in power, which allows them to spread more discontent, and so on. Perpetual cycle until Star Swirl apparently banished them. So there's
Star Swirl banished them, and that's actually really cool.
Yeah,
because it sort of ties in with what we saw.
Yeah, they banished them to another world, and that's apparently where we're stuck in was this human world. So Twilight finds a way using the book to get back to the human world without basically saying screw the time limit.
Yep.
Yeah. So she goes back, and she's trying to help them, and she's sitting there, trying to work it out, explain things to them, and she figures, and then, yeah. So works out, explains that, they talk to each other. She explains what they are, and then so they decide we're just gonna do what we did last time. There was a evil thing.
Yeah.
And so, at this point, as we know, that they've already started to create a Battle of the Bands thing to use the discontent because everyone's all angry at each other, and they try to use their little friendship thing, and it's horribly awkward. Didn't work at all.
Nope.
And now, of course, the three villains now realize where this question magic is. They just found it. Uh-oh. So anyway, they're trying to figure out what's wrong, and Twilight realizes it must be because they all realize the music thing is what must be what they need to do. They need music, so musical counterspell. So Twilight decides to try to write one.
She struggles with it throughout the rest of the pretty much.
Sansa's struggling with her own issues right now, and we see that those two kind of bond a little bit, but
sort of, but not quite as much as they could have.
Yeah. So, so they're struggling. Then we also, as time goes on, we're also seeing the other five kind of struggling with each other. So they're starting to fight a lot more and more often about stuff. And as time, there's the big musical showcases, and when they first try to do it, they're realizing Twilight cannot get this counterspell right. It's horrible. It's a horrible, horrible song. So they're going to just do it initially, but realizing they need more time, they're just going to actually compete for real at this Battle of the Bands and try to give Twilight more time. And, well, they compete, but of course they can't go super amazing and do their little pony form things, because if they do, that will tip off the villains.
Yep.
So they're competing against all these other bands, which form we see them going through the ranks, and then the Dazzlings pull strings through their music to get the Celestia and Luna, who are the judges, to put them in the finals, even though they really botched up their last performance.
Yeah.
And again, as this time, there's already cracks starting to form within their little band here. All these cracks, they're arguing with each other. Dash is trying to hog the spotlight. Pinky's being weird. Fluttershy's freaked out. Rarity wants to do her little outfits, all that stuff. Applejack's kind of mad, just in general.
Applejack's just mad.
And Twilight can't seem to get this counterspell done.
Yep.
Anyway, so the band they were competing against in this particular time was the Trixie's little band. Trixie gets mad after the Dazzlings trick her into getting rid of the Rain Booms, which is the main six band. Yeah, so by dropping them under the stage through a trap door, and they're in there, and they're mad at each other, and they're so angry now. It's just now they're actually feeding the negative energy to the Sirens. So they're down there, and eventually, though, they kind of reconcile because Sunset's the one who realizes, is the one who gives the shut up and listen speech, I guess.
Yeah.
And Spike comes in because he got help from someone else to unlock the door. It was turned out to be Vinyl, who
wasn't affected.
She was not affected because she's always wearing headphones. So anyway, they realize they need it now. They need to do this now. So they're trying to figure out they're gonna have to counter perform, and they don't know how to do because they're not gonna be able to get on stage. And turns out, well, Vinyl is able to provide the sound equipment,
of course.
So they say, and. So they're fighting. There's a big actual musical battle going on. This actual battle of bands, and the Sirens are kind of doing their own little transformation thing. They're magic, and you see their siren true form things, like in a weird ethereal way.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's fighting, and it looks like the Twilight and all of them are all on the about to be defeated. And then Sunset picks up the microphone, and well, she sings too, and she helps, and then they're able to defeat the Sirens and stop them and get everything back to normal. And then everyone says their goodbyes and all that stuff, and afterwards, everything's back to normal. Everyone's friends again. Goodbyes are said.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the end. I
yeah,
mean,
that's the end.
It's kind of fractured because, I kind of have to go a little faster just because it's a full movie. But yeah, that's the whole thing. That is, and the thing was this, and despite maybe how I described it, the plot is, well, the story's good this time.
Yes,
this was good.
Yes,
this was really good. You can hear. I'm kind of starting to vibrate in excitement after remembering all this stuff. But yeah, it's just really well done compared to the first one. Even just production values were better. It's you can see it's just better. The animation's better. It's like the first one. Sometimes, let's be honest, kind of felt cheap at times.
Yeah, that's actually one of the points I really want to make. Some of the animations, some of the shading and transition effects It was impressed.
Yeah, it was miles ahead of the first one. The first one actually even sometimes felt worse than season 3.
Yeah.
Because it really felt at times rushed, which I think leads credence to our little theory of last-second changes.
Yeah. You look at this and go, wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
You do some kind of motion transitions followed with shading. It's like, yeah, they
And just
really did a lot
really
of work on this.
smooth animation.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you look at the bit with where the sirens are singing in the cafeteria the first time, you just see that super smooth.
Oh yeah, it's impressive. They did a really, really good job on the animation.
That's okay. Most of the songs were actually also at least enjoyable, if not outright great. I think the only weak one was trying to remember the name of it. It was we said it was weak before. It was
it was one in that one preview.
Yeah, that one preview was the Better Than Ever. Better Than Ever. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That was probably the weakest song, but other than that, a lot of the songs. The one that really stands out in my mind though is the actual end song.
Yes.
Where they're battling. That was actually really cool.
It was.
And that's also when Sunset sang. They promised it, and it happened. Granted, she sounded almost exactly like Twilight when singing, but hey.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. So. I mean, they actually fleshed out a little bit the human character, I guess the human versions of the characters a little bit more, because
I think they did a bit.
In the first one, they were very static. They're like, oh, it's the same version.
Yeah.
But now they kind of differentiate them a little bit.
They did start to differentiate them a bit.
A little bit, not a lot.
Not a lot.
They're still very similar. They're still the same characters, but there's little differences here and there. You see.
I think they take, like, what they've done is they've taken certain... at least the way I feel about it is they've taken certain aspects of their personalities and kind of exaggerated them a little bit more.
Well, not necessarily exaggerated.
I want to say
tweaked.
Yeah, I would
like
say
Applejack
exaggerate.
actually seemed overall angrier than Pony Applejack.
That's about the different one. But, I mean, Rarity is even more pushy when it comes to her designs, I want to say.
She wants to...
Dash is a lot more...
egotistical.
She is a lot more than her pony version. Pinky's
Crazy.
even more out there. It's just, I want to say that you can tell there's slight differences in their personalities here.
Another thing was, they really fleshed out Sunset this time around. This is what I wanted, and I got it.
Yes.
I mean, this is different. This is a different Sunset, and she says that was the old me. This is the new me. And this is a Sunset who's kind of not sure of herself anymore. This is a kind of lost Sunset. She doesn't really know who she is anymore.
I'll agree with that. They really played it well.
Yeah, and
it's
you
the
can
whole.
see it. She's just
her
unsure.
entire purpose was kind of pulled out from under her. She doesn't know what to do. She's still there.
Some shades of her old self kind of are there too, but so it's like there's one point she yells at someone like, "It's not jealous rage."
Yeah, there was that one. That was
rage right there. But yeah, you can see she still gets mad, which is good because that would kind of be weird if her personality was completely flipped around. That's a little uncomfortable. But yeah, I just really like it, and you even have this bit where she's held on to this book. We found out how she kept in contact with Celestia. Like Twilight has Spike, Sunset had this book.
Yeah, Sunset.
It's the same thing. It's Dear Princess Celestia. Blah 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 blah.
And the other book rings like a pager.
Yeah, it actually rings. It rings like it goes.
That was funny.
Glows and vibrates. So yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
And most kids are like, "What?
What's a well, it's still cell phone vibrates,
cell phone, but
so.
it's like that's kind of like a cell phone. It's like, why is it on vibrate? Turn it up." But anyway, yeah. So the thing is, it's like Sunset. We see still shades of her old self, but we also see her new self. But she's still not sure who this is anymore. But the book thing she said she's holding on to it. And she's like, maybe even I kind of even knew deep down that was what I was doing was a bad idea.
Yeah.
So you can see that she wasn't somewhere deep down. There was still a good person inside, but it was kind of got buried under a bunch of anger and jealousy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ego. Yeah. Of course, background. Oh my! We haven't even touched on this. Background ponies everywhere, or not ponies, but yeah, background characters popping up everywhere, both speaking and non-speaking. Bulk Bicep showed up.
Yep.
And of course, he's wearing like a big
like
old
a gym teacher.
He looks like a gym. Yeah, he looks like a gym coach or something. He got a hat, ball, and of course, what is he playing?
The violin. Like a pro.
Like a pro, and of course, who was it? He blew away. Yeah, he was the one who blew someone away. Yeah, because they had these cool little things where like they do this little montage.
Bracket.
Yeah, the little bracket montage where they have the villains singing their song and they're showing the pieces of all the bands fighting. Because rather than showing every single one, or just like, oh, it happened off screen, we're gonna see it, and so we see each band, kind of a stylization of the bands blowing the other away, literally, and we even see Octavia and she speaks.
Yes.
Octavia now has a voice. And it's not a cultured British accent. So, sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
It's not. It's kind of actually high-pitched. I was surprised. This is completely different from how the fan did it.
Completely different.
Headcanon's wrecked. Of course, Vinyl has not spoken yet.
Vinyl has not.
Still that. Speaking of Vinyl, how she helped at the end. Okay, so she helped unlock the door for the under the stage so they could get out. But then she helps again. She kind of pulls her car up and it's like, okay, which of course is the car that they sell as a toy, but without the sunglasses. Thankfully, if those were there, I'd be like, what?
What?
But then her car transforms into a full, like, working sound system. Like, it literally transforms and shifts like a transformer into a full-blown sound system. And it's like, what?
that was pretty good.
The theater was like, what? Just cheering and stuff. And that's that. Trixie is actually pretty prominent in this one.
Yeah, a very major role for Trixie.
And she's kind of ineffective. She's kind of and you even see like stuff like she does her little disappearing act, smoke gone. Where'd she go? And Pinky's like, where? She's gone. And then, there she is.
Oh, there she is.
Trixie's just hiding behind something.
Or falling off of a wall.
Trixie is okay.
Trixie, yes. that was definitely amusing.
Oh, of course, Maud. Maud does show up.
Yes.
We saw those teas before. It showed up in the leaks. She shows up. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
The theater was just losing it. I was losing it. She's just sitting there, Boulder was hungry. Then she grabs some crackers.
And just pours them
on the floor over Boulder. It's like, oh, God. It's her to sleep over at Pinky's. And And Pinky has a candy drawer.
With a donut in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
A sweet store, I guess.
It makes sense.
Yeah, just Pinky.
But yeah, some other things. Some of the backstory, like we said earlier, Star Swirl.
Yeah, we got some.
Star Swirl's the one who banished them through the mirror, which makes sense because we now have that connection with the comics.
The only problem is, Star Swirl was around kind of a long time ago, and
well, these are sirens.
These are sirens. We don't really know much about sirens, but for some reason they're still teenagers. We don't really have a real good explanation. They even kind of bring up the point of, hey, but why are they just showing up now? But they don't really go further than that, and it's kind of like.
My theory on that one is, they're kind of like Turek had to slowly build his power. The sirens had to slowly rebuild their power.
I don't know.
I like the connection back to Star Swirl.
Yeah,
like we saw in the comics.
I'm wondering if that dangling plethora is intentional left there because they know there's a prolific fan fiction community. So
maybe, I don't know. That'd be interesting.
And we were wrong. We thought maybe one of the villains would get redeemed. Nope. There's like their crystals, their little jeweled amulet crystal things get shattered, and I guess what, they can't sing anymore.
Yeah, they lose their voices.
They try to sing. It's like, oh,
ooh. Sounded like Twilight in that first song.
Oh God, yeah. Which I don't think it's Twilight singing, but it's more of a music writing ability. But anyway,
yeah,
so they can't sing, so now they're just ordinary teenagers, which I think that brings up a whole host of other questions. They just run away, so we don't know what's going to happen to them. No, someone's going to be writing fanfics.
Someone will be. They have it already.
Will they show up in Equestria Girls 3? Who knows? You said it earlier, but the bad song. Megan McCarthy teased this a little. Is the best bad song ever, and it's like, Twilight tries to write a musical counterspell, and it sounds horrible because it's like, it's not great.
No,
it's not great. It's better than last 5 times. Nope.
That was great.
And
that was a good part.
Yeah, so that was really bad. And it's actually kind of funny. There's one bit we see her, when we see her work so far, she's trying to hide it from everyone else. She's looking at it, and we see this little bit, and look at this little drawing in the corner of her, like, I guess screaming at one of the villains.
Screaming at the villains,
or something. That was funny. And of course, it was also funny when later on she's awake in the middle of the sleepover by herself. This is the scene with Maud. She's trying to write, but of course she's writing with her mouth because that's what she's like. Well, she knows how to write with her mouth because she's a pony. Hands are difficult. Hands are a pain.
So, a whole bunch of funny.
I'm going back to that. I'm going to go back to the Twilight Sunset thing that happened. And there's this scene where we see them actually starting to bond.
Yeah,
I loved it so much. Twilight's sitting in the kitchen trying to write this thing, failing, and Sunset comes down and they start talking, and they're starting to talk each other's problems and kind of they're kind of on the opposite sides of it, but still have the same general problem of they feel like they're going to disappoint people.
Yep.
Twilight's trying to be good and do all these things, but she can't help but feel that she's going to disappoint someone. Sunset's trying to be good, but
everyone expects her to be
bad.
bad.
She thinks she's going to disappoint people, and they both say at the same time. They're like realizing. Because Twilight even kind of barely acknowledges Sunset initially. He's even distrustful of her because she kind of comes out of the portal and she's on the ground and Sunset offers a hand. Twilight just kind of sits there glaring at her for a second until finally realizing, oh yeah, you're good now, aren't you?
Yeah, you're good. Right. I fixed that problem.
Yeah, it's probably the same sort of distrust that makes her leery of Discord.
Yeah.
And stuff. But that was I love that scene so much because it built up Sunset, but also reinforced like the stuff that we already know about Twilight. She's kind of... It's weird how she's like really good at stuff, but at the same time, her own worst critic.
Yes.
She thinks she's not that great.
I think as far as personality building and stuff like that, that scene was probably the best out of the whole movie.
I love that scene too because there's Twilight and Sunset just talking to each other.
You have your wife who's...
Yeah, shipping intensifies.
Yes.
Speaking of shipping, though.
Oh yeah, we can't bypass that one.
Flash.
Brad was there.
They do push their romance a little bit harder.
They do.
And there's a point where they almost kiss, and I'm like, no. And then Trixie. The one time Trixie's ever been useful.
Yep.
Thank you, base Trixie. She broke it up before things could happen.
Yep.
I'm adamant that ship has to sink. Just realistically has to sink.
Yeah, but there's that form of it. It doesn't look like they're making it yet.
But it's realistically has to be sunk. But... Yeah, so they have a thing. They had this bit where Flash actually yells at Twilight, and Twilight's episode about.
Yes, but he was under a spell. Yeah. He didn't know what he was doing. Yeah, that's all they have to say, and the ship will stay.
Please sink.
Yeah. So sorry, it's there. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more detracting. It's again they did not they just kind of forgot to flesh out Flash at all. They just didn't. They had a chance. Nope,
they didn't. They failed on that one.
Is he still like, who are you? Other than the waifu thief? Who are you? You still don't know anything about him.
Yep, nothing at all.
Come on, guys. Personality needs to be there. If you're gonna try to push him, you gotta have to give him personality. Yep. And he has nothing right now, still. So I think that's one of the movie's biggest. I think that's one thing it shares in common with the first one is his failure of a romantic subplot.
The only other major issue that I saw was the resolution of the problem, where they're all in the trap door, the pit area, and they're all fighting and such, and Sunset gives the speech, tells them to shut up and pay attention, and then all of a sudden everything's good.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little too
fast.
It just kind of, everyone's angry at each other, and now everything's all fine.
The show in general tends to do stuff.
I know it tends to do that, but it's not an excuse.
The show in general solves problems pretty quickly anyway. So
I know, but
movies in general have to by their nature move things faster than they would in real life.
Yeah, but I still think this one was too quick.
Oh, almost forgot. Lyra and Bonbon were there blatantly together. It's like, oh my god, they are blatantly together. Like together. Like this is blatant. Like they're sitting there performing all cozied up next to each other. It's like,
oh,
they're pretty much confirming that to be canon then. Okay,
canon in a different universe. It's enough for some people.
Yeah, it's plenty. It's
plenty.
Enough.
It's more than enough.
Yeah, so this movie just in general is way better than that first one. It just is. It just is. And the pacing was better overall. The stories works better. There's no significant plot holes like, wait a minute, what about?
Yeah,
I mean, the only one really is like Sunset still going to stay there, and it's like, wait a minute, what about this whole, hey, humans like paperwork and she has none, but it's probably all forged now anyway. It's like, just leave that. I mean, also, people are still distrustful of her, but they seem to be kind of warming up to her by the end of it. I'm not sure why, but maybe because she was the one who helped break the spell. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are distrustful of her because at one point she tackles Rainbow Dash when she's about to transform. It's like, no, we can't tip our hand yet.
Yep, and then everyone starts,
at her. Yeah, Trixie immediately gets on her about it. It's like, ouch.
Yeah.
You feel bad for Sunset a lot in this movie.
You do feel bad for her.
Because if we see her later, it's like she didn't stop this whole thing of the problems that were showing up because she was afraid, because she doesn't know what the heck she's doing when it comes to friendship.
Yes.
And now we find out that she and Twilight are now going to be talking to each other through the book, which, again...
That'll be interesting. And you are shipping them.
But yeah, even if they're just really become best friends, it's still good. But yeah, they're going to be talking. She even goes far and saying, I miss you already. But yeah. Yeah, so it's the only thing is just I kind of wish that Sunset they kind of like brought Sunset back to Equestria, just because it's logically there's going to be as long as she stays, there's a higher and higher chance she might run to her double. Which, speaking of doubles,
we should probably bring that up.
The credits. Okay, first credits were like really awesome because they had these concept art images throughout, and the music's playing and. Them performing their little thing, because we also find out. I remember we find out at the end, Sunset does play guitar and plays it really well.
Yes,
as well as being able to sing. But so much stuff. I keep remembering that. It's like I left that out, didn't I? No.
Well, we can only talk about so much.
But anyway, so we get the end credits, and then at the very end, they got the waveforms. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm like, Sarah. Anyway, waveforms going across this whole time, and then the kind of waveforms kind of just still. It's the flat line, and all of a sudden waveforms start coming back, but then. We see, wait a minute, they turn to some sort of seismograph or something like that. And it's like, what's going on? We see this big old picture of Candle High with a whole bunch of stuff tacked to it and notes
with twine between them
and all this stuff. And then we hear a voice, which sounds familiar. It's like all this stuff is happening in Candle High, and it turns out to be the other Twilight.
Yes, with Spike the dog.
Yeah, it's the other Twilight. And
the human Twilight is investigating the interesting things that are going around the high school.
Yeah, and
holy crap!
Wears glasses, and like this is an obvious sequel hook.
Holy crap! They actually did it.
End. It's like, oh my god! Everyone just in the theater is like, wait, there's something now. It's still going. It's like, oh, you just feel the excitement in the theater. It's like, oh my god, they really did that.
They did.
The only thing is, this begs the question: where's the other Sunset?
Yes. That is an interesting
one of the biggest fan theories is possible. I've noticed one prevalent fan theory is that the other Twilight and Sunset are friends in some way, shape, or form, or know each other in some way, shape, or form.
It's possible.
Which could make sense, but we just know if there's another Twilight, there's another Sunset somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, they brought the human Twilight into this, so that's gonna
be. Derby appears a lot in the movie, including playing a weird.
She plays the saw.
She plays the saw. Yeah.
She plays the saw.
Her and her band. I don't know. Snips and Snails do a little rap thing, which is terrible, and try to rhyme with orange, which you already messed up. Just sit. Yeah. Just go sit down before you hurt yourself. There's a ton of jokes. They're just hilarious. Yeah. So it's a great movie, and you need to see it.
Yes.
If you haven't, you probably already have, and I hope every one of you. I think this is going to go over so much better than the first one. The only people I think I can really imagine not liking are people like, it's not ponies. But yeah, we're now at the point of Equestria Girls 3 is inevitable, and I'm looking forward to it coming out.
Just seeing that ending.
I was uncertain about this one, and now I'm looking forward to 3.
Yeah.
So
hype. Build the hype now.
Go buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray DVD.
Yes. Go buy it.
Go buy it. Just do it. So that's all we have time for, I believe.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we could probably go on forever, just like we did with Equestria Girls. But unfortunately, this time we can't let's just watch it again or whatever.
Nope. Yeah, we have to wait till we can watch it.
We'd have to go pay for it or something. But anyway, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed our, fangasm.
Yeah, it's about what it turned into. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. If you like this episode, you can listen to past and future episodes on pony411.libsyn.com. Everything's there in order. You can also listen via iTunes. You go there, search for Pony411, subscribe, get your downloads automatically every week or whatever. You can go to YouTube, youtube.com/Pony411 if you really don't want to download. Or if you want to, listen through radio and listen to some nice EDM and whatnot as well, go to Ponyville FM every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So there's all those ways. We may have another way of listening pretty soon. I'm going to go investigate, so stay tuned. If you want to contact us, you can email us at pony411podcast@gmail.com. You know, comments, criticisms, concerns, shout outs, whatever. If you want to tweet us, twitter.com/pony411 or at pony411, search for that. Either way, get to us, tweet us, you know, retweet, whatever you want to do there. Facebook.com/pony411, like us, all that stuff right there. Both those previous things have announcements for new episodes and whatnot pretty quickly once they come out. So if you want to know without subscribing to the RSS feed, there you go. You can also contact us via our personal Twitters. I am at Nemesis Prime 1. He is Alca7raz _ at the end with a 7 instead of a T. That's it. Next week, I believe we are going to go back in the past, like we said a while back. I'm not sure totally, but don't hold us to that. Check in.
We'll see.
We'll see. Until then, guys. Almost forgot. Thanks to the Seattle Bronies group for hosting this meetup event so we could go there and interview these people and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. Hope to do something similar to them again in the future. Who knows? Anyway, until then, guys, please pony responsibly. Bye.